I'm with Margate manager and goal scorer tonight, Ben Greenhalgh, after his side's 2-1 defeat to Sittingbourne. Ben, you knew it would be tough coming here. Was it everything you expected?
Yeah, it was everything we expected. It's the same thing that happened here. It always feels like it's against you. Pitch was obviously very slow and held up tonight, so that was a proper hard work game, proper graft out there, and look, it was a proper game of football. That's one of the best two teams that you're going to get in the league coming at each other. I think I'm just disappointed with the 2 goals we gave them, and I said that at half time. You cannot give teams goals as easy as that, and look, Tom knows that for the first one there's a bit of luck in it because it's a deflection and it's lobbed over Tom's head. There's things that we could have done better about picking the ball up on the edge of the box maybe, but the second goal, Tom knows he's kicked it to their player. It's a great strike from their player, but he's then been done. So if it's 1-0 at half time, we fancied ourselves because we were in that game, and it's just very frustrating to come in and know you're 2-0 down against a team that, the harsh reality, they're not going to go and give away 2 or 3 goals. We then took it to them, thought we absolutely were all over them in the second half, and it looked like it was only going to be us that ever scored. A couple of sort of scrambles again. So look, there's one way of looking at it, and you could say we play like that all season, we'll be absolutely fine. But there's also another way of looking at it and start demanding that little bit more, that we can't afford to make the sort of sloppy, inconsistent errors if we want to do a bit more. And their teams obviously come to us after the game and said you're miles better this year, like that was a proper game of football. So look, there's positives to take, and we were properly in that game, and there's not many teams that will take it to them like that here. But the harsh reality is we didn't do enough to win it all. We made a few mistakes that cost the game of football.
I know you'll be frustrated with the first half, sort of lack of chances created really, and obviously going in 2-0 down. Your side come out in the second half, you grabbed the goal sort of 50 seconds into it. What was said at half time, and did you see more in the second half to make you a lot happier?
Yeah, we definitely saw more. I think the first halves, and it's probably similar to, I don't want to compare Saturday, because Saturday was a completely different game. Saturday was laziness and didn't have enough tempo, didn't have enough intensity in our play. We didn't really do what we planned to do either. So that's out the window Saturday, and we took it to them second half, should have scored more goals. Tonight, I'm just disappointed that they didn't have many chances. We didn't have many chances, but they've come in 2-0 up, and that's something that we need to get better at. And I said to them in there, I said, why have they not given us 2 goals? Because we've given them 2 goals. And the fact is, they haven't given us 2 goals, and that is just the difference. And we were very critical in there at half time and demanded more because we knew we were in the game, but we're 2-0 down, and the harsh reality is you're 2-0 down to Sittingbourne away, a team that didn't lose here all last season. That's not a good enough first half performance. And like we said, they're probably the only negatives in that half. So maybe we were being overcritical, but I thought we took it to them second. I thought the subs that come on showed energy, and it only looked like us that was ever going to score. And like I said, you're up against it here. I feel like there's a few rules that the refs need to get right. Like they spoke about the 8 seconds on goalies, which is harsh on goalies because they claim the ball. You're waiting for your team to get up. In 8 seconds, they're not up. But then you look at the other side of things, and they've got a centre half who's walking 60 yards across the pitch to take a throw in, and then taking 30 seconds to take a throw. So it's got to be one or the other. It's got to be 8 seconds for everything. Do 8 seconds for a throw. Do 8 seconds for a place goal kick, which we sort of had a bit of a moan about on Saturday, where Gennaro, we know him as a goalie, and we know he wasted a lot of time from goal kicks, but you can do it. I've got nothing against the teams doing it. If the referees are going to make this one picky rule about an 8 second, I don't get why they're not doing it all around the pitch, because the momentum of the game started to die when we were on top, which is disappointing.
Absolutely, and when the fixtures were released in the summer, obviously looking at it, a home game against a team newly promoted, and of course coming here tonight, last season's beaten finalists. It was always going to be a tough start, but 1 point from 6. Is there any concern at all, or are you happy with what you've seen?
No, I don't think we look at points right now. We said that last season, so I've got to be consistent with saying that. I'm annoyed. I would have hoped to be sort of like we said all last season, 2 points a game, and we're not at that, so we're going to have to climb to get back to that. But you've got to look at performance levels. Like I'd be more disappointed if we maybe got 3 points on Saturday and no points tonight, and we'd underperformed tonight. The fact that we were well in that game and we were sort of value for money and deserved something out of the game, that's what I prefer to go into the following games. And look, it's really tough this start of the season because we're going to trophy a week earlier or a round earlier than what we did last year. So it's very hard to go focus on the league when suddenly now we know we've got 2 cup games in a row, possibly 3 cup games out of 4. Obviously could be 4 away games. So there's a lot of things that feel up against us, but we can't pick on that. Look, we've come here tonight and we've put in a good performance. We just got 0 points out of it, and that's down to us to pick at it. And I think demand a little bit more quality in that final third. I think if we've got that little bit more quality, maybe we do a bit more. But we took it to them tonight. There's positives. I think the players in the dressing room know where we're at, and maybe it's something for us to know that we've got a bit more of a grind about us to get back up there again.
And I know you just mentioned it there, we now put the league to bed for a sort of couple of weeks. Starting Saturday at Cobham in the Emirates FA Cup. We all know what the trophy the cup means to the club, to the fans. Obviously Cobham are a step below as well, so it's a bit of a banana skin, but how much are you hoping that your side put in a performance that will warrant a place in the next round after Saturday?
Yeah, look, we've got to get everyone right, because obviously Harrison has a potential broken hand. We're finding out about that tomorrow. He's obviously in a cast. A couple of knocks and niggles from Saturday, which I don't want to dive into too much, but there is 3 or 4 players that you might have seen tonight towards the end, not slacking, but they've put everything in, and it's hard. We've had 2 sort of really warm games where you were demanding a lot, and we're chasing the game, so we're giving absolutely everything towards the end of the games, and that's always going to tire players a little. But you got to look at this game and know that they've beaten Broadbridge, who are obviously our league, so they've already beaten a team a step above. They're going to be confident at being at home, and we know enough about them anyway, because obviously Jersey beat them, I think, in the semi-final in the playoffs before. So last season we spoke to Jersey about them, and they said they're a good side. So you've got to give them all the credit that they're going to be due, but we've got to take it to them again. If we take it to teams like we did tonight, a little bit more quality, we've got a lot to give this season. So there's going to be negativity into it, but maybe we need that at the moment. Maybe we need to just sort of look on our shoulder a little bit and demand that tiny bit more.
And just to end on a positive, Ben, a first goal of the season for you in league action tonight. A wonderful goal. It must be pleasing, but on the back of a defeat, it's probably not quite as good as it could be. Yeah,
look, timing was good. Exactly the same as Saturday. Obviously, when you look at Blackie's goal, like on the 47th minute, it was around the same sort of time. So that's a positive thing as a team to score goals. And we spoke about it last year. We were very good at nicking a goal just before half time last year. Our first half performance were never quite at it, and that's something to look at from Saturday. I don't think as much tonight. I think tonight was 2 mistakes rather than a poor first half performance. But the timing was good, so we've come out and it looks like, and that carries us into the second half. And I think as time goes on, we're going to score 3-4 goals in the second half. So it's not a worry about scoring goals, it's just not falling for us. The scrambles and things just aren't going our way. I think we had an offside flag when we were in on goal. Kieran's made a good run, there's a good save from Beanie at the end, that the corners just aren't quite falling to us. And so there's going to be a bit of luck in that. But I think for myself, I don't know how my goal against Jersey didn't go in. That was a frustrating one, because that would have been right before half time, would have been a poor half, got a draw. But yeah, look, we've got to demand as much as we can out of each other. We've got to ask our goal scorers to score, and obviously that's part of the job that I'm in the team. If I'm not doing that in the team, I've got to look at myself, because I'm obviously not getting any younger and things, so I know I need to score goals or I need to create chances. So looking around the team, everybody's got to demand that bit more from their jobs, and we're 2 games in. If they don't feel like they've worked hard enough, and they haven't got the numbers either, then we've got to start working a lot harder, because that's the only way you're going to get those numbers.
That's brilliant. Thanks for your time, Sydney.
Cheers, Ryan. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.